A while back, I was at a lunch and learn, and people were asking questions at the end of the lunch and learn. And this lady said, "What's the best way to sleep?" And this guy in the room yelled out, "Spooning!" We got a good chuckle out of that. And if spooning works for you, great. Wake up feeling great, wonderful. But for everybody else, what we're going to go over today is the ways that you should focus on sleeping. If you want your neck and your back to feel as good as possible, what you should look for in a good pillow. So my name is Dr. David Crozy. This is Sherry. We're from Moines Chiropractic down in the southeast corner of Clive. And essentially, Sherry, let's have you go ahead and grab the camera there. So there are some things that have a predictable outcome. So if you fall asleep on a plane or in a car with your head all the way to the side, you're likely to wake up with a pinch. And first off, let's explain what the bad positions of sleeping do. So get close enough where you can see the spine here. So if this person falls asleep and this lower neck joint right here is stretched out fully, they fall asleep in a car. Go ahead and come around to the side a little bit. That area would fill in with swelling. Your spine has 132 joints, but let's say that joint right there is stretched out. It fills in with swelling. When that person comes back to normal, that swelling pushes on some pain-sensing nerves, and it can squish that bigger nerve that comes out right next to that joint there, and that's totally predictable. So when people sleep in bed, if they sleep all the way like this, or let's say you fall asleep on the sofa watching a movie and your head's up on a headrest and your head is all the way forward, that's going to stretch out the joints on both sides of the spine. That's going to cause you to wake up in pain. And then I've had people that come in and they say, the only way that I'm able to sleep, I've truly had people say this, they say the only way that I'm able to sleep is I have to lie face down, then I got to turn my head all the way to the side, and then I got to put a pillow under here. And so that's something that, a 14-year-old might be able to get away with that because their spine, their structures in their spine are perfect. But as we age, a lot of us develop some different issues in the spine that make it where that's not an option. So we have to guide people in ways to sleep better that don't aggravate the spine. So let's take a quick look at what we can see when we do a thorough exam that gives us some guidance and clarity about why a person should sleep a certain way. So Sherry, go ahead and zoom in on these pictures here. This is a normal picture-perfect neck. And we can see that the discs all have perfect spacing. There's no rough corners. Now this is my neck right here, and I have some arthritic change down at C5 to 6. And in my situation, I was a very active kid. I certainly did some headers over a bike when I was riding. But I do look at that and point at one specific time. I was at a concert, and everybody was doing crowd surfing, so they were jumping off the stage and floating around above people's shoulders. And most people, they do it and people would let them down easy, but I gave it a try and I got dropped onto my head from up above people's shoulders. So my entire body weight slammed my neck forward, and essentially as a result, it's now 22 years later and I have some arthritic change there. And then this is Sherry's neck right here. So the lower neck has significant amounts of arthritic change. In this picture of the mouth here, I have that there because if somebody smiled and we saw that their teeth looked like that, instantly we would understand why they might have some pain. When we look at Sherry's and my necks here, we can understand that this lower neck region isn't going to move as well as it should be able to if everything was picture perfect. And we can understand that we have to be more diligent about how we sleep. So in terms of the ideal sleeping positions, there's really two main positions that we would say are best for the neck. The first one is on your back. And essentially, your best position to sleep is as if you're as tall as possible when you're standing and looking straight ahead. So on your back, the neck is supposed to have a smooth forward curve. And so we'd recommend that you find a pillow that provides a little bit of extra support under the neck and lets the head drop back a little bit. That's going to encourage this ideal forward curve there. And so in our office, the pillow that our staff has really fallen in love with are these Millet pillows. So Millet is a really fine grain, and the way that I learned about this pillow, my wife Val, before I met her, she spent a year over in Europe, and she was up in northern Spain. It was a beautiful area, but it rained all the time, and she was kind of out there by herself. Anyway, she ended up dealing with some insomnia. And so she came back to the United States and she just wanted to get her sleep back to normal. And so she did all this research online about what the best pillows were, what was going to help her sleep the best. And somehow she found out about these Millet pillows, ordered one, and when I started dating her, I got to lay on this thing and I'm like, oh my gosh, that feels amazing. It just matches your body temperature perfectly. And essentially with these, what we explain to people is that they come loaded with a kind of overfilled. So you take out the amount of millet that you need to, then you're going to lay on it and you're going to nuzzle in until you get to this perfect position with the right amount of support where everything feels right. And again, the joints in your spine are lined up as if you're tall as possible, and it should feel perfect, and it just stays in that position where if you think about a down pillow, it might feel good at first, but gradually it's going to settle out or scrunch around. These ones, they're more firm where they stay in that position. So I actually brought my main pillow from home. This is one of these Millet pillows, and so when I lie on my back, I'm going to rest my head here, and so I've got a little bit of extra support, and then I'm going to nuzzle down in there, and now I have this extra support under my neck, and my whole body is lined up very nicely. So this just feels perfect, and I'll find that I spend a lot of the night in this position. So the other position that we recommend is on your side, kind of in the fetal position. And in this position, the main thing we'd say is that our goal is that the center of your forehead, center of your chin, and center of your chest are all lined up. So again, if you had a really thick pillow, it would be like falling asleep on a plane. That's going to end up with some pinching and stretching in those joints there. If you had a really thin pillow, it would be the same thing. So again, in our office with these Millet pillows, you'd lie on your side, and then I'd just move back and forth just a little bit, and I'm trying to get all these, the center of the forehead, center of the chin, and center of the chest all lined up, and that's essentially as good as possible. Then I wouldn't want to sleep way forward like this or way backwards. Just in that nice lined up position is the best that we can do to have this great night's sleep. So personally, we would say that the test of a good pillow is if you insist on bringing the pillow with you when you travel. And all three of the people that work here, myself, Sherry, what about you with your pillow?
Take it with me every time I travel. I have two.
So Sherry has two of the Millet pillows, and she says, yeah, we don't travel without it. And the frustrating thing, these pillows actually are kind of heavy, so it's hard to take it on a plane with you. But other than that, the Millet pillow has been our top recommendation, but essentially what we'd say is that whatever kind of pillow you want to buy, those are the things that you're looking for, is that the pillow enables you to be in a position as if you're as tall as possible and you're looking straight ahead. And so hopefully this has given you some valuable information. Like I shared with the pictures of Sherry and my spine, once we understand what's going on in our body, it can help us understand how we have to sleep. And so if you're ever interested in finding out what's going on in your body, we do invite you to come in for a thorough exam, and we just check out how your body's working through ranges of motion and probably get some x-rays taken where we can let you know this is what we see going on, and then be able to give you some more guidance about how you should sleep to wake up as rested and feeling as good as possible. So thanks for tuning into this Facebook Live, and go ahead and follow our page so that you get this information in the future.